Hello everyone, my name is Derek. This is the Bourbon Table. I have another shelf tour for you. Before we get started, I also have some holiday presents. This is my first video since the holidays and I wanted to thank some people. I've got this phenomenal hat from my girlfriend Laura. Did a great job picking out the colors and the hat. It's actually a high quality Pitbull. It's from Pitbull. I got this cool glass with Bourbon Table etched in it. That's what's also on the hat. I'll get into what's inside here in a second. And then one of the gifts I got from one of my best friends is from Ian. Got this whiskey shirt with my favorite baseball team, the Phillies. All right, now, again, before we get in, what's in the glass? Well, one of the things I got on this tour, which you'll see here in a second, is 2XO's American Oak. Haven't had it yet. You're going to get an initial reaction, then we're going to jump right into this tour, which, by the way, one of my top viewers sent in some pictures from I guess it's a liquor store. You'll see what I'm talking about when we get to it. But getting back to the 2XO American Oak, when I popped the cork, the smell was fantastic. And it's still fantastic. It's only been sitting 3 minutes maybe. I love the smell. It's sweet. It's got like a hint of apple even, but you know, the regular light caramel, vanilla, that type of a thing. Only been open, like I said, 3 minutes. Let's see what it tastes like. That's nice. It's not overpowering. The proof is 92 proof. That's an easy sipper. It's got great flavors. It's obviously got the oak because it's 2XO. If you don't know, 2XO means it's double oaked. 2X double O oaked. That's a nice sipper. I'm going to sip that as we go through this video. So now, this is the first video I'm doing multiple liquor stores. The reason I'm doing multiple is because each one of these does not have a huge selection, but they've got an interesting selection. So I put all three together to make one whole video. All right, let's take a look. Here's the first one. No big surprise here, Costco. This one is in Edison, New Jersey. In New Jersey, any single company is only allowed to have 2 liquor stores. So Costco has this one, and they have one in Wayne, New Jersey. Every other Costco in New Jersey does not sell alcohol. Here's the first shelf. Again, not a big selection, but a deep selection. So the other bottle that I picked up was this barrel Bourbon cask finished Mizunara for $69.79. That's a phenomenal price. I haven't seen any barrels in my area or around my area for any less than $79. So this is a great, it's a great bottle, by the way. I've had it. I like it. I really like it. And that's the lowest price I've ever seen it. In this shelf, there's no other bourbons. Moving across, this is Costco's case. This is not everything in the case, but this is the whiskey portion of it. There's only a couple bourbons in there. As you see, the Booker's small batch. I don't know which one that is, but $95. It's only $4 or $5 less than retail. Saving $5 is not worth picking up. The other one in there that I'm looking at that I do enjoy is the Hibiki Harmony. That's $85. That's $15 below the lowest price I've seen it, so that would be a great price. All right, next one, Widow Jane 10-year, $15 off. So the original price of $72 is pretty good. This price at $56.99 is a fantastic price for Widow Jane 10 years. I didn't pick it up. I've tried it. It's okay. I'm not a big fan. I'm an okay fan, so I didn't pick it up. Next shelf, we've got a couple things on here. I want to start at the right. You see the Peerless Small Batch for $69.99. That's a phenomenal price. Really good price. Lowest price I've seen is $80, so that's fantastic right next to it. You see a Knob Creek single barrel, $52, another great price. And then next to that, you see the Angel's Envy Triple Oak, another great price. I got that one for $75, so you're looking at almost $6 off. All right. And you got the Maker's Mark, which is cut off on the side there. I'll get to that in a second. Next one, there's the Maker's Mark. You've got the Michter's. I don't think I have the price there. Got the Elijah Craig handle for $60. And then below that, for $59.09, you've got the Maker's Mark Lost Recipe Series. That's a 700 milliliter, not a 750. I know some of those are good. I can't keep track of all the makers. So I wait to hear when there's something that's really, really special, and then I get it. I just can't keep track of all the recipes. All right, moving across. Oh, there it is. So there is your Michter's at $39. That's a great price for that. That is the Michter's US 1. I did not pick that one up. I wish I had. That one is getting great press because Mr. Minnick had a blind tasting against some very expensive bourbons, and this one at $40, he said, took them all out. So if I go back there anytime soon and it's still there, I'm going to grab that one. And then below that, you've got the Maker's Mark handle for $54. I think that's actually high. I got a handle of Maker's Mark for $48 and change, call it $49 at a Joe Canals further away. So that's kind of high. Moving across, here's some more interesting stuff. Start on the bottom there. The handle of Bullet for $54.89. That's okay. Like to see it cheaper. Above that, now here's your 2XO American Oak, $39. The cheapest I've seen it is $50. That's a great deal. Right next to it, Old Forester 1920 at $52. That's lower than I've ever seen it. Not a whole lot lower, but it's lower. It's a good deal. If I didn't already have it, I definitely would have picked that up. Down here, you'll see the handle of Jack Daniels at $48. That's the price that I like to buy Jack Daniels at if I'm getting the handle. And then below that, looks like some leftover Christmas gift sets. You got the Gentleman Jack handle for $52. That's a good price. It comes with some stuff there, glass and so on. I didn't pick it up because I have some Gentleman Jack and I don't drink Gentleman Jack like that, so I don't need the handle. Then we got some stuff on the end cap here. So the Angel's Envy, you can see there that's a port wine. The Angel's Envy port wine for $42. That's a great price. And then next to that, you got the High West 3 bottles for $79. I'm not sure about that one. The two bourbons on either end were aged 2 years, and then you got the cask finish. I really want to try the cask finish, but $78, $79 seemed high. I'm not a huge fan of High West. I know some of you in my other video told me that the cask strength is really worth it, but I can buy the cask strength separately, so I passed on this. All right, now we're going to go to the second one. Again, limited selection, but Wegmans is a big company. They have some interesting stuff at some interesting prices. And Wegmans, for being a big company, they do a good job with their picks. Again, they're in New Jersey, so they have 2 locations. There's this one that I went to in Princeton, and then there's another one in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. Let's see what they've got here. I did some fancy video work. Hopefully you enjoy this. And then we walk in. So their wine and spirits is to the left of the regular grocery store. Interestingly, the Wegmans in Cherry Hill, their wine and spirits portion of the grocery store is actually a separate building on the other side of the parking lot. Interesting factoid. So when you walk in, you turn the corner, right at the counter there, they have a barrel with some of their picks. There was a customer shopping there, so that's why you got the carpet. You can see they got the Old Forester single barrel blue label, $99, we'll call it $100. They've got the Wegmans, the single barrel proof whiskey for $69.99. Behind there, you've got their Elijah Craig pick for $76. The Widow Jane Paradigm Rye for $50. I did not get any of those. Now you go to the case. This is interesting. I've got a couple shots because it was hard to get all of the prices in here, so bear with me. Across the top, you've got some Blue Run, which looks like okay prices. Not great prices, but they're okay. That's about what Blue Run is going for. You know, Blackened, I've told you guys many times, I'm not into. The Rebel 10 is high at $130. It runs normally $100. I've seen it for $90. There you've got the Whistle Pig Piggy Bank Rye for $250. To the right of that, you got the Shanks for $150. Probably a little high there. Midsummer Night's Dram at $150. That's high. I'd like to see that under $100. Next to that, you've got the Widow Jane Black Opal. I've seen some reviews on that. It's good, according to the reviews that I've seen, but not $500 good. Then next to that, you got the Old Elk 10-year for $130. That's probably okay. Shelf down, you've got a 2XO Innkeepers for $80. That's a good price on the Innkeepers. Next to that, you got the Bacta's 2013. Somebody tell me, have you had the Bacta? Is it any good? I'm really interested in that. I don't know why. I guess I've seen some advertising, some stuff online. I've never had it, but it seems interesting. Next to that, you got the couple of the Barrel Gray Labels at $200, $220. On the left door, you see the Elijah Craig single barrel 18-year, $200. That's about what it's going for. The Kentucky Owl is overpriced, but you see it's coming down, especially that green label. $110. That is the second lowest price I've seen it at. I saw a location that had it at $70. Look for that to come down even further. If I see it again at $70, I'm going to pick it up. George Dickel, $270 if you're into that. Calumet 15 and 16, $135, $150. That's about right. Moving further down, there's the Hibiki at $100. Again, Costco had it for $85. You look across a lot of Japanese whiskeys and so on. Next one down, we've got, I'm looking at the right now, we've got the Boss Hog 8 for $2,000. I guess it looks like you get some extra corks there, so maybe that's worth the $2,000. I don't think I'll ever know because I don't think I'll ever try that. Next to that, you've got another Boss Hog for $600. On the left door, you see the Penelope. That's a 9-year. I have that, so I didn't pick it up. And then you've got 3 Bookers, which they're all 105, various years from 23 and 24. I've got a couple. I'm not collecting them all, so I didn't get any. On the bottom, you got the Joseph A. Magna Cigar Blend for $180 on the bottom to the left. That's the best price I've ever seen. I almost picked that up. The cigar blend, Joseph Magnus, got a lot of great press, but lately it seems that we're not sure if it's continuing, the latest batch, if it's continuing to be as good. Next to that, you got the Whistle Pig 15. We've talked about that in other videos, $270. All the way to the right, it's hard to tell, but that black box with the orange tab, that's Jack Daniel's Sinatra Edition for $200. I got mine for $169, which is the lowest price I've ever seen. At $169. Here's some closer shots. You see the Knob Creek for $169. That's the going price. See, there's some better shots. They had some barrel store picks on the way out the door. Their Knob Creek single barrel for $57. Then we get into the aisle. They had this cart here. So just the things on the bottom, Whistle Pig, Camp Stock, $75. That's the regular Elijah Craig, small batch, no price, and Jefferson's below that. Then we'll get into the shelves. So across the top on this first shelf, some interesting things, some Japanese whiskey. The only thing up here that interests me would be the Johnny Drum, $39.99. I've seen a little bit less, but that's an okay price. Next shelf down, we're looking at the Penelope, the Rosé cask finish. I have that. That is $59.99. That's a good price. The Toasted at $70. I got the Toasted at $59.99. It is retail every day in Pennsylvania for $64, and it was on sale. That Penelope Architect right there for $65 is a store pick, so that's a good price. Penelope Barrel Strength at $70, and so on down. You can see we go into the Smoke Wagon. The Henry McKenna 10-year now is at $70. It's creeping up there little by little. Right next to that, Mellow Corn. This is the only liquor store that I know of that reliably keeps Mellow Corn in stock. $24.99. Sure, it's probably should be less than that, but that's what it is. Rittenhouse Rye at $30. It should be more around the $26, $27 range. I won't get it here. And the rest of the stuff to the left, you can see there, I'm not familiar with any of those except Bib and Tucker, which I haven't actually tried. So, I don't know how good that is, and that's at $50. Going down, you see the Screwball at $28.99. I've seen it for a couple dollars cheaper. The Starlight Blackberry right there at $25. That is Starlight's best-selling bottle. As a blackberry flavor, it tastes really good, so it sells quite a bit. It's more like a liqueur. All right, some other stuff across there, Blade and Bow. So you got some Sagamores there. The Sagamore pricing is pretty good. I mean, you got the Double Oak there for $55. I like that. Then you got the Alberta Premium, which is really, really a really great rye. I actually bought that at this Wegmans, not this time around. I paid, I think, $10 less. The price on that has gone up. And then we take a look at the handles at the bottom. Those are all handles except for the Heaven Hill, which is at $52. If you remember, if you saw that video, if not, go ahead and watch it. The Joe Canals video that I did also in Princeton is in a shopping center across the street from this shopping center, and they're selling that Heaven Hill for $45.99. That's a big price disparity right across the street, but that's how we roll in New Jersey. Okay, next shelf. Well, let's start at the bottom because there's the Heaven Hill again. But you see the things that were cut off was the benchmark handle, the High West handle. You could see those prices. And the turkey, the wild turkey there, 101. I'd like to see that wild turkey. I'd like to see those handles of the staples like Wild Turkey, Maker's Mark, Jack Daniels. I'd like to see those around the $48 mark. All right, let's move up a shelf. You can see the old Ezra's at $70 and $80. They're creeping up in price. Moving across, you see some usual suspects. There's another shelf blue run for $70. There's that Eric LeGrand for $45. I've seen that at $40. Baby Jane is a good price. The Widow Jane Decadence at $95. I think that's the price of it now. And then you've got the Widow Jane 10-year there for $85.99. Remember, we just saw it at Costco for $57. So you're saving almost $30 by going to Costco. If you're thinking about getting a membership, you just saved $30 towards your membership. Costco, if you're listening, let's do a sponsor deal. Next shelf, you see the very old Barton at $27. And you can see the usual suspects across the bottom. Four Roses at $44 for a handle is a good price. Moving up, the Westward there at $90. Westward's getting a lot of press. The prices are going to be high. The one that's missing is the Old Forester Rye for $29.99. I've seen it for $27.99. Also at that Joe Canals across the street, so I wouldn't get it here. Then you see the Old Forester lineup. Remember, we saw the 120 at Costco for $8 less. So now you save $30 on the Widow Jane, $8 on the Old Forester. Now you got $38 towards your Costco membership. Moving across, you got some redemptions. There's a lot there. I'm seeing redemptions and Bib and Tucker quite a bit. I may have to try some of those. There's Hirsch for $36. Not a big fan of Hirsch. Maybe a little high for me. There's some more Starlights. They're rye and they're bourbons for $35. Then you move up, and there's your Knob Creek lineup. Actually, you see the Knob Creek Smoked Maple. My buddy who gave me this shirt also gave me that. I haven't tried it yet, but it sounds delicious. Moving across here, you got the Wild Turkey Kentucky Spirit for $73. That's higher than it used to be. So the Wild Turkey Rare Breed at $63. I've seen it as high as $74.99 in New Jersey. In Pennsylvania, it's $49.99. So right across the bridge, you're saving $13 to $20 some dollars. The rye, I haven't seen in Pennsylvania, so I can't tell you the price there. Moving across, the bottle that's missing there is the Russell's Reserve Single Barrel Rye for $65. That's a pretty good price. Then you move over, they also don't have the Russell's Reserve 10-year for $48. I don't know why they're out of that. They normally aren't, unless they found that special laser code. Maybe they had that laser code and people scooped it up. Next to that, you've got the Russell's Single Barrel for $60. That's a good deal. And your regular suspects on the Wild Turkey. Moving up, that Nelson Brothers, again, haven't had it, don't know. The Benchmark, I have all of those except for the small batch. Those prices are okay. I've seen them less, though. I've seen the top floor in that $15, $16 range. The Full Proof looks pretty good. The Single Barrel, I think I've seen it for $1 less. Moving across, we've got a couple of Angel Envies. Remember, we saw the one at Costco. I think it was $4 cheaper. We got some Heaven Doors across here. This is my uncle's favorite. Actually, they don't have his Heaven's Door on here. They do have a pic of it. You'll see that in a second. Whistle Pigs. All right. Next shelf, you'll see here the ends of the Whistle Pigs and Four Roses. There's some Calumets and Yellowstones. I'm not into any of those. The next shelf down, you've got the Jack Daniel's Single Barrel for $52.99. They have a store pick of that. I'll show you that in a minute. Jack Daniel's Single Barrel Rye. There's Gentleman Jack. There's some Uncle Nearest. Look at that. They've got a signed Uncle Nearest. That's pretty cool. The Knob Creek 12-year, which is probably, arguably, the best tasting of their higher aged bourbons. That price, though, at $72.99 is high. I've seen it $69 elsewhere. There's the rest of the Knob Creeks, and you can see those. Moving down, after the Starlights, you got Castle and Key, Noble Oak, 1792 small batch, some Jack Daniels. Those prices, again, just a touch high. The 1792, that's a good price. That's the lowest I've seen that one. And then below here, I actually cut off the prices, but you'll see them in another picture. Moving across the top, you got your Basil Haydens and your Jeffersons. I'm not huge into any of those. Used to drink Basil Hayden, but it's very bland for me now, so I've moved on. Then you got your Jack Daniels, your bonded bottles there, your Jack Daniels bonded rye, your Jack Daniels bonded $39.99, and the triple mash at $43. I imagine it just costs more to produce because they're doing some mixing in there. Jim Beam 7, which was a great rollout for Jim Beam in 2024. I hope they continue to introduce good whiskeys at good prices. $17.92 at $24.99, that's a good price. Evan Williams Bottled and Bond for $21.99, that's high. In PA, it is $19.99 and it's on sale for $17.99. There's some more Evan Williams products from Breckenridge. We'll get to the rest. Down there, Jim Beam, like my shirt, Jim Beam, cross there. There's the flavored stuff. The barrels, they're at the $79.99 for all that stuff. In PA, it's $84.99, so that's a good price. The Barrels Foundation 5-year, that's retail, that's a good price. And then their store pick whiskey here at $79.99 is a great price. Store picks are usually $95. And actually, you'll see on their end cap of picks, they've got it priced at a higher price, but Wegmans does a good job of dropping the price if it's not selling. And I'll show you a couple examples of that. Going down here, so there is your Basil Hayden handle, a bunch of handles down there, Evan Williams, Bullet, and so on. Also, sorry, to the right, next to the barrels, you see a couple of Bowman Brother products. Okay, next shelf. Across the top, Legion, Elijah Craig, Michter's. Below that, you've got Willett's. So the Willett Green Top at $59.99, that's a great price. I've already got it, so I didn't pick it up. The Baker's 7 at $62. That's actually a pretty good price nowadays. I'm seeing that creep up. Travelers, again, that's got to get to $30 before you're going to entice me to pick it up. There's a Woodford Wegman store pick for $59.99. It's probably pretty good. Wegman's store picks are pretty good. Woodford store picks are pretty good, so it's likely pretty good. That's not a great price, but it's a pick, so you got to pay whatever it is. Then you got the other Woodfords going across. There's no price on the Double Oak. You'll see they have a store pick of that. It's $64.99. Below that, you see the Bullet. So the Bullet single barrel is $49.99. That's a good price. I've seen them mostly for $55 and up, depending on whether it's a store pick or not. You can see those products across the bottom. Now, the Maker's 101 for $39.99 here in PA. It's $38.99 every day. The Maker's Cast Strength, $59.99. If I'm not mistaken, it's on sale in PA right now. So we go down. Again, the handle of Makers, I picked one up at $48, $49, but I see it now for $54 in most places. You see the regular Makers at $31. Going across, you can see there's a Woodford Reserve handle, $4.67. I've seen it over $70, so that's a good price. I don't know if it's a great price, but it's a good price. And then lastly, here are the handles. Again, there's your Jack Daniels at $48. That's what I like to see it at. There's your handle of Evan Williams for $29. That's the first time I've seen or at least taken mental note of Evan Williams handle at $28.99. We'll have to see how that works out. And all the way to the right, you got your Jim Beam for $33. Here's your store picks for the Wegmans in Princeton, New Jersey. Well, let's start at the bottom, and then we'll move up and get interesting. So you got the Yellowstone at $55. Yeah, don't know. Haven't had that one. The Rebel Cast Strength for $39.99. It's a great price. I see that for $59.99 different places. But this is the Wegmans pick. And again, if it's not selling, the Wegmans will drop the price. So I picked this one up at $40. I haven't cracked it yet, but I did pick it up. Then you see the Ezra Brooks Cast Strength and the Ezra Brooks Single Barrel. I don't know what that is on the right. Above that, you've got the Iron Smoke Special Reserve pick for $100. I have an Iron Smoke, but I don't have that one, so I couldn't tell you if it's worth $100. There's a Maker's Mark pick for them. I believe this is left over from 2024 for $75. Again, there's so many different Maker's Mark recipes. I was at a restaurant over the holidays that had their own Maker's Mark recipe, and so it's so hard to know which ones are good and which ones aren't. And when you're talking about $75 to $100, that's not a risk I'm willing to take until I try it. All right, so moving across. So again, here you see the barrel, their barrel whiskey pick. That price is $89.99. Wegmans has been mispriced from time to time. So like I said, on the shelf around the corner, they've got it for $79.99. All right, moving up, you've got the Wegmans Private Select. So this is their pick. Again, as I said, it's $65. There's a Whistle Pig pick, Wyoming whiskey. This Crypt Keeper bourbon is a 12-year bourbon for $80. I have no idea what that is. It has been on their shelf for a year. There's a Jefferson's single barrel. Again, I'm not big on Jefferson's. Then we go almost to the top. There's Jefferson Oceans, $100. Elijah Craig pick for $80. There again is the Penelope pick. There's a Pinhook, a High West. This is the Heaven's Door cask strength. This is the bottle actually my uncle and I cracked on his back porch last summer. Had a great time. That's actually a good price at $70. Then next to that, you've got the Jack Daniels Wegman single barrel proof pick. As we saw, it was $69.99. And look at that, proof of 134.8, almost 135. That's getting near hazmat. I didn't pick it up because I already have one. It's not that proof. It's a little bit lower. And then we've got the rye, which many say, myself included, is both of those Jack Daniels are excellent. The rye may be a little bit better, and that one is 135.5. So they are both right around that 135 plus or minus. Then on the way out the door, they've got this barrel display there where they've got the High West pick, the Ezra Brooks cast strength pick at the top, their Whistle Pig pick. That's $83. They have another Maker's private selection pick. That's the newer label, so it's a newer pick. I did pick that one up last time. I haven't cracked that one yet to tell you about that one. I'm looking forward to it. We'll see. And there's a different angle that shows on the right there, a store pick Bullet cask strength for $49.99. Again, that's a great price because those everyone else's picks are $55. All right, now we're going to the last liquor store. This is interesting. I don't have all the facts here, so stick with me and we'll get through it. This is a liquor store inside of Reading Terminal Market in Philadelphia. It is called Pennsylvania Libations. Now in Pennsylvania, this is a state-run liquor state. However, Pennsylvania Libations has a location. They have 3 locations across the state. This one's in Pittsburgh. I don't know where the third one is, but they're selling liquor inside the Reading Terminal Market in Philadelphia. How are they doing that? I don't know, but I can tell you that they only sell Pennsylvania-made liquor of all kinds. So as you can see, they're made in PA. I didn't know Blue Coat Gin was theirs, and you may not have ever seen Blue Coat in your state, but there's the gin. By the way, these pictures were sent to me from one of my top subscribers, Jason. Thank you so much. My last episode, I asked if you wanted me to review some liquor stores in your market. Just take some photos and send them to me, and I'll do that. And that's exactly what I'm doing here. So here we go. In the Reading Terminal Market, and if you don't know what that is, look it up. It's just a phenomenal, it's a huge place of food and drink and all kinds of great stuff. If you're ever in Philadelphia, go there. It's excellent. All right, so they're selling a Pennsylvania-made alcohol. We'll see how much stuff you recognize. Go through, here's the first shelf. The first thing I recognize is this 8 Oaks Farm Distillery Pinot Noir finished bourbon. I was this close to picking that up a few months ago in a PA Wine and Spirits because it sounded so good. All right, moving across, there's some more 8 Oaks. There's some Stolen Wolf. They offer a lot of different stuff you'll see here in a second. So there's a Stolen Wolf 3-pack with a Ultimate Wine Challenge of 2020, 95 points on 2 of their bottles. If I was there myself, I probably would have picked this pack up for $78. That's 20-something a bottle, and I would be able to sample their white rye, their regular rye, and that looks like straight whiskey. All right, cool. Next, here's a barrel which I've got a display on. And here's the shelves. So we'll start at the top left. There's another 8 Oaks, a port rye, and a Ponfay. Looks like they got some rye there. You can see, if you'll notice as you go through here, these bottles, all of these bottles look really cool to me. They all look well designed, smaller distilleries, but they look really cool. A lot of the Pennsylvania bourbons and liquors, they do a Liberty or 1776 type of a theme. You can see that going across, but they all look older. Like this in the middle of the screen, this straight rye from Stolen Wolf for $80. That is a phenomenal looking bottle. All right, moving to the right, 1794. Again, I have no idea. Moving to the right of that is Dad's Hat. I do know Dad's Hat. I've been to their tasting room. They've got some really good stuff. I don't know if I have that one. That's a high proof, unfiltered, cast strength rye. If I was there, I probably would have picked that up. All right, next shelf down. I don't know what that is on the side. That Old Farms, Pennsylvania, I've seen it in some liquor stores, $32. It's just a label. That label it's so small town, small distillery that it makes me want to try it. You can see moving across, there's some more Liberty Pole, some Thistle and Fitch, and I've seen a lot of these in the PA Fine Wine and Spirits, and some of these in New Jersey. There's another 8 Oaks. Next to that is an Explorer. I have no idea what that is. There's some more Stolen Wolf. And then moving down, the only thing I recognize on that bottom shelf is the Thistle and Fitch. I haven't had it. I did have a subscriber comment on that because I saw it in another video. And they commented confirming that it is a Pennsylvania distillery and it's pretty good. And if you look at the prices, pretty good is actually great given the prices there are $20, $38, $38 on the black coffee. I mean, so, good for Pennsylvania, right? The bottom is just back stock that they use to fill the shelves. Let's see here. Yes, so we can go on to the next shelf here across the top. There's another cool bottle by Stolen Wolf. Some really cool bottles here. There's that 8 Oaks across the top. I don't know what Sweet Rust is. The name alone would get me to pick it up. Also, Jason told me that at this liquor store in Reading Terminal Market, if you want to sample this stuff, they will sample it to you, which makes sense because these are not big name stuff that you already know, so you would have to taste it to find out what you like, and that's exactly what I would have done had I been there, and I probably will do when I go there. All right, moving down, there's some more Liberty Poles. It doesn't look like these shelves are organized by brand. I see there, second from the right, that Mermaid Spirits port cask finish. A lot of distilleries are doing port now, $48.56. That's an odd price. And then the shelf below that, you can see there's another Mermaid in the yellow label to the left. There's a 8 Oaks in a completely different bottle, Applejack, directly in the center of that shelf for $54.99. There's a Liberty Pole Bourbon Liqueur. And then moving across, there's another Mermaid. We're not keeping our brands together, but that's okay. And then there's the back stock there. Let's see what we have. I think that's it. We can't go any further. That's all there is to it. All right, thank you so much for watching the Bourbon Table. If you want me to do a shelf tour of your liquor store, send me some pictures. I want to see what the prices are in other states around the country. So send me some pictures. I'm really curious to compare East Coast, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Delaware, to West Coast, to South, to North, all that stuff. So send me some pictures from your distillery and I'll do them. Don't forget, like, subscribe, leave comments, and I'll see you in the next one. Wow.